Good morning. 14B District Court is now in session. This is Magistrate Hillary Braley presiding. Now calling the people of the state of Michigan versus Gary John Nalepka, Police Agency Report number 25-52183. Can I have appearances for the record, please?
Good morning, Ashley Feltus for the people.
First Assistant Public Defender Kalina Anderson with and on behalf of Mr. Nalepka, Your Honor, we waive formal reading, stand mute, and reserve our bond argument.
Okay, thank you. And sir, can you state your name again?
Gary Nalepka.
Okay, thank you very much. So, Mr. Nalepka, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything that you say out loud or in writing can be used against you in court. You have the right to be presumed innocent beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to a trial by judge or by jury. You have the right to be represented by an attorney during all stages of these court proceedings, that is before, during, and after trial. You are not required to disclose citizenship status to the court, but you do have the right to consult with an attorney to see if this case would have any effect on your citizenship status. If that last part doesn't apply to you, don't worry about it. So, any questions about your rights?
No.
Okay, thank you. So this is a misdemeanor charge. Do the attorneys wish to address bond, please?
Yeah, people would like to be heard on bonds, Your Honor. I understand that this is an incident arising out of a assault that happened while the defendant has been incarcerated. So the victim is also, at least at this time, incarcerated. I don't know if they'll continue to be. I would ask for no contact as much as possible if that person is still incarcerated, and no assaultive contact at any means. And then a small cash bond, as I do believe the defendant's being held on other matters.
May I proceed?
Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor. Yes, that's our understanding, Your Honor. My client is being held on another matter that's pending in the 22nd Circuit that's set for final pretrial on the 27th. He's not expecting to be released. He's just asking for a low cash bond while this case is pending.
Okay. Thank you. So the court will set a pretrial conference date that will be September 3rd, 2025. That will be at 9 in the morning, in person, I believe, at 14A1. So that's the courthouse that's located basically above where you are right now at the jail, okay? So the court will set bond with the following conditions. You are not to use or possess alcohol, marijuana, or illegal drugs. You're not to leave the state of Michigan. You are not to engage in any sort of criminal activity whatsoever. You are not to have any contact with Jerome Burns. You are not to engage in any sort of assaultive behavior whatsoever. And you are to appear for any and all dates set for you by the court. The next one in this matter, as I stated, September 3rd. So, any questions about the conditions?
Nope.
Okay. The court will set a $1,000 10% bond in this matter.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Anything else?
Nothing for
No,
the
Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Sir, you're free to go to the door and tell them you're finished. Can you just change the name so it just is? Good morning. Can I have your name, please?
Shalamar Krosney. Hold on, shut this door. Sorry.
Now calling the people of the state of Michigan versus Shalamar Kristen Crosley, Police Agency Report number 12-5909-25. Can I have appearances for the record, please?
Ashley Feltus for the people.
First Assistant Public Defender Kalina Anderson with and on behalf of Ms. Crosley, Your Honor, we waive formal reading, stand mute, and reserve the bond argument.
Okay, thank you. So, Ms. Crosley, you have the following basic rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything that you say out loud or in writing can be used against you in court. You have the right to be presumed innocent beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to a trial by judge or by jury. You have the right to be represented by an attorney during all stages of these court proceedings, that is before, during, and after trial. You are not required to disclose citizenship status to the court, but you do have the right to consult with an attorney to see if this case would have any effect on your citizenship status. If that last part doesn't apply to you, don't worry about it. Do you have any questions about your rights?
No.
Okay. Thank you. Then do the attorneys want to address bond, please?
Your Honor, at this time, the people are requesting a PR or a very small surety bond, but are mostly concerned with conditions, namely no contact with the named victim in count two, Shaylin Hall, SHAYLYNN, as well as a no-go to an address on Whitaker Road I can provide when the court's ready. That person, the named victim, is the daughter of this defendant, is my understanding, and stays at that same house on Whitaker that the defendant does. So we are requesting a no-go to that. Their alcohol appears to be an issue in this case. There was a pretty high PBT that was done. So I would also request standard supervision at community corrections. And I'm happy to answer any other questions the court has and provide that address at the court's convenience.
Okay, thank you. The court does have the address already.
Perfect. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Attorney Anderson?
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, we're requesting a personal bond in this matter. In speaking with my client, it's my understanding that the address that's listed is her address. She lives there with her other daughter that's 12 years old. It's my understanding the listed complainant is 21 years old. She had been kicked out of the home, so we're not sure why she's using that address, but she's been asked to leave the home. She's not staying there from our understanding. Since my client does have another minor child that she cares for, and that's where they live, she doesn't have anywhere else to go. She would ask to be allowed to return back to her home. She has no problem with the no contact order. However, that is her home, and she would like to be able to return back there.
Okay. Attorney Deltas, can you comment on that?
I don't have any additional information about that, Your Honor.
Does anyone know where the 12-year-old is right now?
I do not, Your Honor. I understand that there was another person who was also arrested in this incident, who I think is this defendant's significant other. I'm not clear if that person's also a parent of the 12-year-old, but I do understand that this was an incident involving more than one person physically assaulting the 21, 22-year-old.
At this time, the court will set a pretrial conference date that will be August 28th, 2025. That will be at 9 in the morning, in person, at the 14A2 District Court. So 14A2 is the courthouse that is located in downtown Ypsilanti on Michigan Avenue. That will be in front of Judge Barr. The court will set bond with the following conditions. You are not to use or possess alcohol, marijuana, or illegal drugs within we'll say by close of business on Monday, so Monday being the 18th, close of business being 4 p.m. You are to report to community corrections for drug and alcohol testing. You will need $12 and a photo ID. Prior to your release, you are to be fitted with a Soberlink device. That is something that you'll take with you. It tests for alcohol. You breathe into it a couple times a day. You are not to purchase or possess any firearms, ammunition, other dangerous weapons, or the means to create them. Any weapons that you do possess are to be surrendered. You are not to leave the state of Michigan without the court's permission. You are not to have contact with Shaylin Hall. When the court says no contact, what the court means is no in-person contact, no contact through the mail, no contact over the computer or phone via phone calls, text messages, emails, social media, the internet in any way, shape, or form, or through third parties. Unless and until the prosecutor's office is able to determine that Shaylin Hall does not live at that Whitaker Road address, you are not to go to the Whitaker Road address. You are not to go any place that Ms. Hall lives or works. When the court says do not go, the court does not care if you own a place, rent a place, or are personally invited to go to a place. Don't go. Since you likely have things that you need to pick up from that Whitaker Road address, you may do that on a civil standby. And as I stated, if it is determined by the prosecutor's office that the victim does not reside at that address, then you will be free to return. You are not to engage in any sort of assaultive, threatening, harassing, terrorizing, molesting, or stalking behaviors towards Ms. Hall or anyone else. You are not to engage in any sort of criminal activity whatsoever. You are to appear for any and all dates set for you by the court, the next one in this matter being that August 28th pretrial at the 14A2 District Court. That also means going to community corrections as directed. So, do you understand all of the bond conditions?
I do.
Okay. So these conditions will be entered into the Law Enforcement Information Network. They will be readily accessible to any police officers that you may come into contact with. And if they have probable cause to believe that you have violated one of these conditions, they can arrest you on the spot, and you'll be held for a bond violation hearing in front of a judge who may revoke your bond and set a new, more restrictive one. At this time, the court will set a $10,000 personal recognizance bond. So what that means is you are not paying anything to get out. Basically, you are promising to appear for your next court date and to abide by all of the bond conditions. If you fail to appear or violate any bond conditions, a bench warrant could issue for your arrest. Your bond could be revoked entirely. At a minimum, it would start at $10,000.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions about anything I just said?
No.
Okay. Okay. Anything else from the attorneys?
No, Your Honor.
Your Honor, thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Ms. Crossley, you're free to go to the door and tell the jail that you're finished.
That
Right, thank
hearing
you.
had a little
Thank
bit
you.
of everything. Magistrate Hillary Braley presided over 2 arraignments that looked routine on paper, but raised some very human questions once the details came out. Rijan Nalepka, already in custody on another matter, now facing a misdemeanor charge for an incident that allegedly happened inside jail. With both the prosecutor and defense counsel present, the magistrate walked through Nalepka's rights, remaining silent, presumption of innocence, trial by jury, and then moved straight to bond. The prosecutor requested a small cash bond plus strict no-contact conditions, since the victim was another incarcerated individual. Defense counsel acknowledged Nalepka wasn't expecting release anyway, but asked for a low bond in case. Judge Braley struck a middle ground, $1,000 bond at 10%, with conditions of no contact, no alcohol or drugs, no assaultive behavior, and no leaving Michigan. Nalepka was polite but quiet, answering questions directly without elaborating, and the whole exchange showed the court balancing an inmate-on-inmate allegation with the reality that he was already being held elsewhere. Then came Shalamar Kristen Crosley, whose case was more complicated. She faced misdemeanor charges involving her daughter, and the prosecutor asked for a no-contact order with the daughter and a no-go condition for the Whitaker Road address they shared. The wrinkle came when defense counsel explained that Crosley's younger child, only 12, still lived at that address, and Crosley had nowhere else to go. Judge Braley listened carefully, then crafted a set of conditions designed to thread the needle. Crosley couldn't return to Whitaker Road unless the prosecutor confirmed the older daughter no longer lived there, and in the meantime, she could collect her belongings with a civil standby. Additional conditions included alcohol testing through community corrections, fitting with a Soberlink device, and a broad no-contact, no-harassment order with the complainant. Crosley, visibly nervous, confirmed she understood and agreed. Her demeanor was respectful, though it was clear she was worried about how to balance her bond conditions with her family obligations. The overall courtroom atmosphere was serious but pragmatic. Nalepka's case was straightforward. Another inmate, another charge, standard conditions. Crosley's case required more careful tailoring, with the magistrate showing both firmness and flexibility to ensure safety without rendering her effectively homeless. The attorneys were professional and prepared, the prosecutor emphasizing victim safety, the defense stressing practicality, and Magistrate Braley holding it all together with a steady hand. If you found this hearing insightful, consider subscribing, hitting the bell, and letting me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every one.